When the Dogud shattered the dam, he deemed us free of his father's war. No longer would we fight for water which would now flow freely. Yes, we were free of Vander's war, but Dogud's war had only begun. The lands we once settled were flooded in an instant. Decades of farmlands and homesteads swept eastward by the floods. The centaurs were quick to pick in on our confusion, leaving our clan, now rulerless, to battle day and night for the right to settle a new home. The Green Seer glanced an omen of change, a new billowing of smoke from the mountains to the east. I was charged with leading a party aboard our longship, the Shattered Tusk. We were to head downriver in search of allies, safe lands, or even stranded members of our own tribe swept eastward in the floods. Our clan is filled with many fine warriors, strong of body and spirit. But it is not them who I was given to lead. One is but a lanky boy dreaming of glory. The other a coot who thinks himself a seer. The rest seem able-bodied but lack the spirit needed to see the mission through. But I will hold them together, for the good of the clan, and the glory of our people. By my name, Grimlock the Immortal!
That's weird, why'd those drums keep going? There we go. These are the last words you find scrawled in a log of Grimlock the Not-So-Immortal, as his life's blood pools under his liberally stabbed body, after the two of you return from a meagerly successful hunt for food.
Huh. Guess he won't know Immortal after all, huh?
No, I suppose not.
The two orcs stand in the sun-drenched surroundings of the sandy dunes, the shadow of their longboat hanging over their now slain leader, giving them partial shade and respite from the sun clinging above the sands. Ront, a younger orc wielding two dirks, would you like to describe yourself?
Absolutely. Ront is on the younger side. He has seen battle before, but his first battle was the Battle of Damhammer, where fire flew across the sky and T-Rexes roared and rained. It was in this battle that he caught his inspiration. He stands dressed in a garb similar to one of their tribe's greatest warriors.
Harper Valentine?
Exactly. He's got a long black chin strap style beard. His tusks are prominent, but he's eager to prove himself, but at the same time he's changed his styles a little bit. He doesn't quite embrace the nature of the orcs, whereas he believes speed is far more important than pure raw muscle.
A reflection that you're now thinking might hold a bit more body, as the stab wounds in the back of Grimlock seem to suggest he didn't really dodge much. Standing to his side, an older orc, kind of white of hair with a milky eye, Korgal. Would you like to describe yourself and your situation?
Absolutely. Korgal is an incredibly old, hunched-over orc with pallid green skin. He is gaunt and skinny in build. He leans on a walking stick made of petrified wood. His lips and teeth are stained a bluish purple from mysterious substances, and he's adorned in what appears to be armor made of all manner of bones, furs, and leather. He is balding and has long, light gray hair and a beard equal in length.
The wind kind of blows around you, sweeping up a bit of the sand in this now clearly well-tossed small day camp.
This appears to be an omen.
Think it was the doors again?
Perhaps. These old bones are creaking on with the years. If we don't find a place to settle now, we never will.
Yeah. We might have to continue the old man's mission.
Yeah. Who better to continue an old man's mission than another old man?
Ain't that the truth?
So the Grimmock's final message is carved in wood.
It looks like it was written on a very crudely written in a I'm hard pressed to call it a tome, but a collection of papers he has in front of him that's been serving as a log for the mission.
I'll lean down to that log and I'll tear the page out that has the final part of it where he declares himself Grimmock the Immortal. I'll sort of roll it up and put it in my belt or somewhere.
You now have the final decree of Grimmock the Not So Immortal.
Well, should we bury him?
Seems about right. See if he's got anything we might be able to use.
You find a shovel, and I'll find a plot.
A couple of large birds are circling overhead as you step out from under the shade of the overturned longboat.
Buzzards. This must be an omen.
Hopefully a good one.
Well, I believe there must be a dead body somewhere.
You know, I think you are absolutely correct on that one.
Of course I'm right, Sonny, and I bat him in the chest with my staff.
With a slightly hollow tunk.
Ow.
I would like to give a search around the site to find myself a shovel, maybe see who generally take a look and find out what happened, if there's any kind of tracks to see who was here, who did the stabbing.
All right, so for this one shot, we will be using the ready to roll system, which is the 2d6 system I've been working on. So go ahead and give me a roll plus wits.
That's a 10.
A 10 is an automatic success. So as you're going through the strewn about, overturned bits of goodies that you have lying about, you do find a shovel that's been used for kind of digging the ship out if it ever got kind of marooned on the side of a dune. It seemed to be left behind. It's a bit rusty, a bit old, but it should do the job. The thing that kind of catches you is that Grimmock is the only body that is here in the camp, and you were traveling with at least 3 others. 3 other orcs, bit older than you, bit more war-weary, one of whom you at least remember serving with at the Battle of Damhammer. None of them seem to be around, and the camp seems to have been tossed in a it's somewhat chaotic, but also it looks like the perpetrators knew what they were going for.
Mm-hmm.
You believe this may have been a mutiny.
Okay. Ron ends up coming back with the show. Yeah, from the way I can look at it, I think the others probably went and killed him. Looks like a mutiny happened while we were gone.
Mutiny.
Because they done knew what they was looking for.
Well, guess that means we have to find our mutineers. What do they call them nowadays? Mutants?
I don't know. I mean, what is what is a mutant anyway?
Someone who mutes.
Oh, like them folks that can't talk.
That's right. You got a good bunch of rocks rolling around in that head of yours, son. But that's aside from the point. We should probably try to find the culprits here. Perhaps I'll consult the spirits.
Yeah.
How do you decide to consult these spirits?
So, Korgal reaches into his pack and he pulls out an old dried mushroom that's brown and has white spots on it. He just sort of slowly slips it into his mouth and starts chewing. And his pupil begins to dilate.
Yeah, so you have one milky eye and one eye that is almost entirely black from the iris starting to spread out as your brain begins to go on this chemically induced spirit quest. Go ahead and give me a roll plus strange, and what is your goal here?
I'm trying to sort of see the echoes of what happened here. This is sort of the ending of one's life is sort of a very powerful moment, and it might have left some sort of spiritual impression. And I'm trying to sort of get a glimpse around the moment of what happened, like sort of one of those Batman recreation things, if you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Crime scene recreation, but via mushrooms. Let's see here.
Go ahead and give me a roll plus strange.
Rolling plus strange. I'll show you how it's done, Sonny. That's a 12. That's a 14 right there. I see everything. I see.
So Korgal begins rubbing your face intently, Ront, as just all around you, Korgal, you see this. You see literal echoes of what appears to be like either minutes or hours. Time is an illusion, and you know that. You've been keen to that fact for a while. But moments before, you see the captain just kind of sitting in at this like little makeshift desk with the like at the edge of the overturned boat, and you can see the three other orcs just kind of like glancing over and communicating. You're able to kind of like wander over and kind of focus in on their conversation.
So look, it calls him Grimot the Immortal, right? Like, so he can't die. Yeah, that seems to be the gist of it. So if we like ran up and like stabbed him like 30 or 40 times, he'd just shrug it off. That seems to be how the legend goes. Well, shit, let's do it.
They each pull out a dagger, walk over to him, and just stab mercilessly as the as Grimlock. Oh, shit!
Goodness.
Oh shit! We should get the fuck out of here. Should we take the boat? No, fuck it! Head to the Trog Caves! And you see them scatter.
The spirits reveal unto me the answer.
Yeah.
Our mutineer. The spirits reveal unto me our mutineers are orcs of 3. They're heading towards the Trog Caves.
Oh, they don't want to do that. There's Trogs in there.
Your accent changed again.
Yeah.
Could be the mushrooms.
Hang on, I'm coming down. Oh, Nelly. Well, I think I've found our mutants. Thank you, spirits, and thank you, mushrooms. So, what do we do? Are we gonna make this our problem, Ron?
Well, we's go get them. Then we's continue the mission, right?
Maybe. Yeah, probably don't want people who are willing to stab somebody over a rumor hanging around with us. Well,
yeah.
Let's get a move on.
They's in the Trog Caves too. Ron's gonna be digging.
That's what the spirit man with the big beard told me.
You are welcome.
Huh. Fuck was that?
Ron just shakes his head and starts digging. To at least to give the immortal some rest.
Right. You get digging. I'll watch.
All right, Korgal, go ahead and give me a roll plus wits to keep watch as Ron digs a hole for Grimlock, the extra mortal.
That's a 5. I'll keep watch. And the second he turns around.
Either that or you turn and you stare directly into the sun.
Show me your secrets.
The spirits are just telling him things. Just some random spirit just talking his ear off, and he doesn't want to say no.
Ron, go ahead and give me a roll plus body to see how long digging this.
Ha! That's a 6.
It takes you a decent amount of time. Like, the land, the issue is not that the shovel is not moving the sand. It's the fact that the sand is so soft that as you're digging, it just keeps filling itself in. But you don't seem to realize that, and so you eventually just start giving up and just start taking the sand and just piling it over the corpse that's just sitting there. By the time you finish, it takes you about half an hour to figure this out. By the time you finish, Korgal is sitting there. These birds that were circling overhead now kind of like slowly hopping their way over to him, giving his exposed appendages like some test nibbles.
He hardly reacts at all. He's got like a purplish glob of drool coming down one side of his beard. Cut it out, Betsy. And he slaps one of the buzzards.
It flies away. Kind of takes perch on top of the longboat.
I haven't been nibbled like that in years.
What?
What?
What you talking?
Trog caves! We should probably get going. Don't mind me, it's just an old man reminiscing.
Luckily, the amount of time it took Rance to dig that up, the sun is getting lower in the sky, so it's not punishingly hot, just aggressively hot. As you begin traveling across the dunes northward, doing your best to follow the footpaths left behind by the 3 panicking orcs, go ahead and one of you give me a roll plus wits to track on them.
You can't see it, but I'm pointing at you, Ron.
All right. Sounds about right. That's a 10.
Yeah, sure enough, you're not having too much of an issue following the tracks. It helps that every now and again you find a couple of dropped pieces of equipment here and there, a water tin, pieces from a very rudimentary mess kit.
Ooh, piece of gear. Ooh, a piece of gear.
All things total, as you're following this trail for a couple hours as you're trying to make it towards the caves themselves, you end up with a half-filled water tin.
Yeah, that's good.
A rusty spoon, which is practically flat, almost like a butter knife.
That one's mine.
And it's over.
2 pieces of copper. And
Copper coins or just like bits
copper
of copper?
coins.
Ooh.
And the sheath of a battle axe.
Ooh. I could probably use this to patch up my pants if I actually rip them again.
And as the sun begins to kind of like dip on the horizon, giving you these massive stretched shadows from the dune seas that lies to your east, you are now within eye shot of the many cavernous holes that the Trogs claim as their own.
I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to wrap a bandana around my face because how much experience do we have with Trogs?
You know that they are raiders, but your normal relations with them are typically those of the aggressor and not so much of them being the aggressors.
Mm-hmm.
They are strong in number, but if you catch them off guard or like even if they're facing you guys 2-1, typically the orcs will win those battles unless it's like a pure ambush.
All right. Then I'll go ahead and I'll put a bandana around the face, and I'm going to look for, since it's dark, we should be able to spot fires from a ways off, so I'm going to go looking for fires.
That'll be a roll plus wits.
That's a 7.
You see a few of the tunnels have a bit of a flicker to them. Seems like they aren't incredibly lively, but a few of the tunnels do appear to have, at the very least, a watch, like some sort of a watch near the front of them. Or if they are a smaller Trog community, that might just be the community itself billowing from a cavern that has multiple entrances.
There's light right there, and right there. So we could go to any of them.
I will consult the spirits on which way we should go.
And he reaches into his pouch and he pulls out some bones and he throws them on the ground.
Trying to divine by the scattering of the bones. Go ahead and give me a roll plus strange.
That's 11.
Of course, it makes sense. Why wouldn't it be the cavern to the far left? You feel like a fool for even having to have talked to the bones.
Ah! Old bones telling me what I already know. I already got old bones. They're right here. Ow! Shouldn't have done that. Well, it's that way, and I'll point my petrified wood staff to the leftmost cave.
Oh, here we go stabbing again.
Now hold on a second, Sonny, and I'll sort of hook his shoulder and spin him back around towards me with my staff.
Eh?
Now, them boys might be idiots, but they're still workers, strong workers. They managed to overpower our little our friend. Well, he wasn't really our friend. Managed to overpower that immortal guy.
Yeah, but
Grimlock, that's the one. Sorry.
yeah.
Son's cooking my noggin. But we don't need to necessarily bring him to frontier justice. We could put him to work, maybe.
Oh,
Huh?
Stabbing's for the trogs.
What?
We gonna get the orcs, but we stab the trogs that are with the orcs, if there are trogs there.
Yeah, no, I figured that went without saying.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, once we find the folks what did this heinous crime, we don't, that's manpower that we need.
Yeah. We gets them, and then we just keep on with the mission.
Glad we're on the same page. All right. This page specifically, and I pull out the last will and testament of Grimlock.
I keep on wondering why he done went and called himself an immortal like that. It's almost like he's asking people to try him.
Yeah. It's about as pretentious as calling yourself a god killer. I don't know who would do that, though.
Well, I mean, unless they actually kill a god, right?
I wouldn't go around telling people that, though.
Yeah. Then you just go and put a target on your back.
But who could kill a god? That's silly.
I mean, Thernak's dead, and Vander ain't here no more. So
I don't buy it.
You think it's just one of Vander's tricks?
It's possible. You can never really tell with that one.
Maybe.
Mm.
I fucking love you, Connor.
You continue your conversation as you encroach on the lightly flickering cavern opening.
I would like to crouch down and begin to stealth.
All right, that'll be a roll plus wits.
That's a 7.
Okay.
You think you're sneaking in pretty good. The only unfortunate bit is that there's only really one way in, so you do your best to stick to the shadows as you clamber your way into the Trog cavern entrance, which is smaller than you anticipated. Not a whole lot of room to hide within the cavern entrance itself, but you do manage to kind of like slip up behind a rock and get a glimpse in. It doesn't look like there's anything immediately that looks like it's going to spot you if you try to make your way into the first chamber of the cavern.
All right. Then I will motion the old timer over.
I'll just sort of put a hand over my various clinky bits so they don't make any noise, and I'll waddle over. Yeah.
doing your best to mask the tinkling of the wind chime that are the many bones you have hanging off of you.
Okay.
The entrance to the cavern is fairly sparse. It looks like the glow that you found is from the smoldering embers of a very like it looks like it's a permanent aspect, like a little fire pit, but it doesn't look like it was being manned for a while. The area seems pretty clear. There looks like there was a resting spot for somebody to sit, like for one of the trogs, maybe two of the trogs, to kind of sit and wait and watch, but they appear to have abandoned their post.
Now we should be careful. Them trogs are sneaky ones. Just 'cause we can't see them doesn't mean that they're not there.
Ronk gives a slow nod. All right. And he starts moving his way in very slowly, making sure to keep his wits about him.
All right, appropriately stated. Go ahead and give me another roll plus wits.
That's a 10.
You keep your wits about you as you travel into the darker corridors, your eyes taking some time to adjust, but not quite as well as a trog's would in this area. It worries you a little as Korgal's words kind of swirl in your mind. These creatures that kind of live in these caves are more adept at adjusting their eyes to its darkness, but you take it very slowly. And as you listen, you hear the clattering of metal against metal.
I'll give a little hand save down to Korgal. And I will keep in cover, but continue to approach just to get eyes on it. Hand is on the knife, though.
All right, you place your hand upon one of the dirks at your side, and as you make your way forward slowly, the clattering gets louder and louder. You can hear the battle cry of a familiar Orcan voice. And suddenly the clattering kind of stops.
Alright, I think that does it for this room then. Yeah, but we should be careful. Them trogs is sneaky like. They likes to hide in the shadows. But it should be good enough for now. I think so. Maybe.
That's them.
So, we approach and talk to them, or we sneak up on them?
I think they're a little tightly wound. I don't think sneaking up on them is going to end well. I think we should just try and talk this out.
Yeah. And with that, Ron's going to stand up, and he's going to slowly walk around the corner.
Around the corner, you see the three familiar faces of the other orcs that were sailing the longship with you. There's Durbin, who stands about a head above the rest of them, very broad, has a scar that runs down the left side of his cheek, kind of bisecting his jawline a bit. Then there is Ruhr, who is slightly shorter than Durbin, has longer hair, keeps it in a bit of a braided ponytail, has two battle axes at his side. No scars on his face, but his body is a litany of them. And then there's Spoo, the shortest of the three. You could almost confuse him for a goblin for the sharp, pointed features of his nose, and the fact that he stands probably about 5'5". Of the of the three, he is definitely the shortest. He is only maybe, like, even Korgal in his kind of hunched over stature stands about a head above Spoo. He has very slicked back black hair and kind of prominent hazel eyes as he, like, he is also the first to notice you. Oh!
Ahoy!
Hello. What brings you this way?
Says Durbin.
You?
Well, yeah, that's about the gist of it.
Oh, we was just out here for a good old raid. It was, you know, a good murder, slaughter, fuck. We were here,
Roar just kind of, like, puts his hand on him.
because we were, trying to find supplies for the journey and figured that this lot...
You can see kind of like a light shine in his eyes there.
were the ones that attacked the captain, so we were tracking them back here to get back everything that they tried to take from us.
What are you on? Yes, that's what happened.
Look over at Ront just to sort of gauge what he's feeling about the situation.
Well, he trusts Korgal, so he knows that they're lying. But he gives a little bit of a smirk towards them. Well, I regret to inform you lot. The immortal apparently ain't so immortal.
Yeah, we kind of figured. I mean, yeah, that's about right. It's damn shame he didn't make it, huh?
Yeah. But that's alright. We's gonna finish the mission anyway.
Oh, good. Fire, hooray. Yeah, that's great. Nice. Yay.
Yes.
Think of it like this. We go back home. We did
sounds
something the
good.
immortal couldn't.
Wishes go back home?
Eventually.
When's his eventually? Is he like tomorrow or tonight or...
Well, we need to get back to the boat first and foremost.
Right.
So, you're in here gathering supplies, eh?
He gives him a wink.
Yeah, it's pretty easy. I mean, they lost their strongest warriors too. It looks like they've been through a few raids, and I don't really know what they got, but it's ours now.
Oh, that's good.
Well,
What's they got?
Looks like got some barrels of old dried fruits and some reptile skins, the bones of something,
yeah.
and lots of metal.
Well, some of you younger folks could probably make some use out of that metal, but we could probably use some of that dried fruit, and I'm sure I can make use of that bone and lizard skin. Now, if we've got plenty of supplies, and he winks at him again.
He nods.
You see Durbin kind of like lean over to, like, kind of lean all the way down over to Spoo.
Does he only blink with one eye? Is that why that one's broken?
Notices that you're staring at him, just slowly leans back upright.
Yeah. Well, we should probably all head back out. Now that we've brought these criminals, these murderers to justice, we should get back to work.
The Trogs, by the way, look nothing like warrior Trogs. They are I mean, you're not very good at gendering trogs, but they don't seem to be the fittest of fighting creatures. In fact, the weapons that they had on them seemed very rudimentary at best.
Hey, alright, so, I guess we'll grab this stuff and start carrying it back, but...
That's right.
Oh, alright.
We'll lead you back.
Goody, says Roar. As they begin gathering the supplies and start carrying them back. They stand a bit further away from you as you guys make your trail back to the longboat, kind of conversing amongst themselves very lowly.
Can I get a wits roll just to give a listen to him?
Absolutely.
11.
Woo!
As you expected, they're kind of talking about how they like really fucked up in killing Grimlock. There is some conversation of like,
So exactly why is them's in charge when, you know, I'm the biggest. I was the one that, you know, did in the old captain, and I mean that, right? Like,
What are you talking about? I'm the one that stabbed him like 15 times. Like, clearly it was me that... And also, I'm the brains of
this group here.
hey, I'm the one that got us the cover. They're the ones that aren't, like, they didn't, you know, take us down because I was the one that came up with the story that we ran with.
He looks up, notices you're looking at him.
Just a big orky smile. I'm glad you three are safe. Hello.
He looks back over.
All right, I don't think he understands what we're saying. Good thing we're whispering.
Hello.
Hello.
It's good to be safe.
Yeah.
What?
Gorgal, who had been
Young-
sleepwalking for another few minutes, I guess.
Youngsters yelling too loud.
Very,
Shook
very
me out-
soft.
shook
pat
me
on
out
the
of
back
my,
Gorgal.
You shook me out of my trance.
What was the spirit saying this time?
Spirits were saying we've done a good job and that we should hurry back so that we can get a good plot of land for ourselves.
He
Yeah.
leans forward just a little bit, whispering to Gorgal. Yeah, they're talking about wondering why we's the one in charge now.
That's a good question, actually. Well, we don't exactly have the moral high ground here. We do know what they did. You're tough, but I don't know if you could take all three of them in a fight. We should probably find a way to assert and establish dominance.
Oh, ain't you a steer?
Yes. I wonder if I could ordain something like that, actually.
Seems
Yeah.
he's the highest ranking among us. Giving you a
Yeah.
seer and all that.
A bogus. Yeah, I could probably whip something up.
Just gotta be real careful, like you and I stick together, and they don't cause no trouble as long as we's with each other.
We play our cards right, we could get out of this ahead.
Yeah.
They seem pretty gullible.
Yeah.
As he's saying that, you're still kind of cued in on their conversation.
I know, they seem pretty clueless.
You guys make your way back to the longboat. It's kind of hard to see in the like the darkness that is kind of washed over as it's Typically, you've been traveling down the river at night just to kind of stay out of the sun's light. But upon making it back to the longboat itself, several of those buzzards have dug their way into that grave and are currently pecking at the exposed flesh of Grimlock, the very, very mortal, and now incredibly dead.
Them's birds smarter than I thought.
May his soul rest.
As they're picking at bits of his ass meat that have been uncovered. Just sitting there like Raccoon after he got wrecked by Goku.
At least he died with dignity.
That was a fine orc right there.
Just not very immortal.
Yeah. Shame the trogs got him and all that.
I mean, he was very immortal until he died.
Yeah.
Grimlock the temporarily immortal.
So, we's gonna prove that we's better than this immortal get. Right?
I use this immortal too. I hate to say it, but I feel like we've devised a good test for that one.
Spoo kind of steps on his foot.
I mean, I could think of something as a test for it.
I mean, you can be better than an immortal without being immortal, right?
Explain.
Well, he was immortal, but he's dead now, and we ain't. So we's better than him, right?
Right.
Makes sense to me.
So he's one of the best warriors we got. So if he left and we's come back without him and we's do the mission, that means we's better than him. That means we stronger than him. We stronger than the immortals.
Go ahead and give me a charm roll, which would be 0 modifier.
Okie doke. That's a 7.
But, like, we're alive too, right? And we's is all better than the immortal. Then what's it that makes it so's that... What if, like... Because, like, I was the biggest, right? Like, I'm like 2 of Spoo, yeah.
Okay, yeah, you don't have to point that out.
But I is. So, like, does that make me the biggest immortal?
Being the biggest ain't always being the bestest. Because he was the biggest. And he ain't immortal no more, right?
He's very dead.
Yeah. Them trogs got him.
Yes,
So-
they got him very good.
Being the biggest ain't always being the bestest. But to be the bestest, you gotta be the bestest.
So,
And there's only one way to be the bestest. And that's to prove you's the bestest.
okay, so if I prove that I'm the best and I'm a captain, or
We do the mission, and then we all prove that we's the bestest. So when we goes home, they gonna call us all the captains.
so we's all a captain.
Once we get home, yeah.
By,
Give me another charm roll.
10.
Ooh.
Durbin steps up, like kind of like standing above you.
you know what? Yous might even be smarter than Spoo!
Spoo, who's currently like picking his nose with his pinky.
Huh?
I like you. All right, let's get this boat in the water.
Yeah.
Glad
Let's
we
go
got
be
that
the bestest.
squared away.
We's all gonna be captains when we get back. It's gonna be great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Durbin,
No.
Roar, and Spoo
Yeah.
begin to collect what's left of the space around. All kind of like taken in by Durbin's joviality of the realization.
All right, boys, let's set sail.
The Shattered
We got-
Tusk. Yeah, the Shattered Tusk is carried very gingerly over to the side of the river and set in. Still kind of moored by a line tied to a rock.
I'll go ahead and untie that rock. Untie the rope from the rock. So that we can set sail.
All right, as you hop in the boat and untie it, the currents begin carrying you down the river eastward.
And we're off. Treading water for the first time in
A day.
centuries.
Yeah,
Oh, right.
We've been doing this for a few days.
I think
Right.
he, well, I mean, he spent most of those days just eating mushrooms and yelling about things. He yelled at the moon for like 5 hours one night. It was very difficult to sleep.
It's because the moon's a sumbitch and it's too bright.
I mean, he's kind of right.
Turn it down.
And as you guys continue sailing down the river, here's where we will take our break. Hey guys, Lanny here. I just wanted to thank you for rolling with us. And if you wanted to catch us live, you can do so almost every Monday at 5 o'clock Central Time over on twitch.tv/LannyPator. Now, back to the show. You continue sailing downriver for the night. The billowing smoke coming forth from the mountains in the east. You can hear the cracks of thunder kind of echoing in the distance as you see the small sparks of lightning kicking out of this volcanic thunderstorm. The weather itself is fairly calm. You have a crude sail sitting on this very shoddily thrown together longboat. The river itself is a bit bumpy. And, let's see. Got all these things written down here. Roar is currently manning the sail itself. Spoo is making sure that it's not listing left or right. And Durbin is one of the people keeping watch for either enemies to raid and take supplies from, leaving Korgal and Rance. What are you guys up to on the boat?
Ront would probably be like working the back rudder, making sure that they're going where they need to go.
Every now and again, you'll hear Spoo yell out, "Rock!" So go ahead and
that's
give
when he
me
turns.
and give me a roll plus body.
Okie doke. Roll plus body. That is a 7.
You managed to like successfully avoid a majority of them. Every now and again, nobody lets you know that one's coming, and you just hear a then you just hear rock. The boat, although like very shoddily put together, is very durable. Luckily,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Orc tech.
Good craftsmanship on this vessel that we've never built before.
it's built from the guts of one of the ships that the Goliaths had in Oasis. After the Battle of Damhammer, some of their ships lied abandoned, and after the floods kicked in, several of them were like kind of strewn through your streets, got damaged, so the driftwood and remaining husks of these boats became the first longboat of your community.
Ah. Yeah, we usually build them. Wait. Back when back when the tournaments were still a thing, did we build our own boats then, or were those supplied?
Some of the times, just to kind of show up, you guys would you would sometimes have boats like built, very very shoddy kind of boats, nowhere near the luster or the prominence of this fine longboat that you have named the Shattered Tusk. But just to kind of show up an oasis without having to walk over the sand at its like kind of walk along its shore, it would save you some time and give you a bit of extra pomp upon arrival. It's typically something that happened between the North Shore and the South Shore orcs, where they would each try to build like a better boat than the others had in the previous year.
Now we're all pomp and no circumstance.
Yeah. We's also scattered. That's okay. We gonna find them, though. Then we gonna make this boat real orky-like.
It's gonna get real orky on this boat once we get more orcs. Since we're down one, I guess.
We'll have to see if we can pick up any young bucks that are willing to put in a hard day's work to get us where we need to go.
Speaking of putting in hard day's work, Korgal, what are you doing aboard the ship?
Well, when I see the lightning coming from that volcanic thunderstorm, I visibly shy away. Brings back a bunch of bad memories. But other than that, I'll probably be, what would I be doing? I'd probably be looking around for maybe interesting points of interest along our journey. Maybe I could just try and see if there are any stragglers outside on the river.
All right. Go ahead and give me a roll plus wits.
Plus wits. I'll give you a roll plus wits, all right? That's going to be probably good enough. That's 10. That's 10.
Solid
That's
10
just
certainly 10. Is good enough. You off to the south, or actually no, off to the north, you do see the flicker of a campfire off on kind of a northern dune. Your eyes are having a bit of a hard time kind of grasping the forms around it, but it does look like there are multiple forms gathered around a campfire to your north.
Especially the right one. Hey, I see a campfire off there in the distance.
Oh boy, more pillages!
Maybe.
As the ship rocks again.
Rock!
Could also be stragglers that we could pick up and maybe take with us on our way.
It could be that too. It could be that too.
He says notably, like, as he's holding these twin battle axes in his hand, they kind of droop a little at the mention of that.
Right.
Well, what are these orcs? Or what are these loots? Something's coming on this here boat.
Ah!
As Durbin just runs and like Viking charges off the side. I'm gonna roll something for him to see if you're close enough to shore. He jumps. You hear a sploosh as he gets carried upriver.
Huh.
Orc overboard.
Should we go after him? We got like a something we could
Do you have like a
throw out
length
to
of rope?
him? I'll look for like a length of rope or a piece of wood or something.
Spoo and Roar are kind of like jumping to station, like trying to pull out rope. It's not very hard to find a length of rope on this boat.
All right, somebody tie some rope around Spoo and throw him.
What? No, I don't like that idea.
Now.
Go ahead and give me a roll plus charm, or just roll, just a straight roll.
9.
Hey.
Roar already has like a loop of rope around Spoo. Wait, what? Poof! Shoves him over. Son of a bitch!
That's two.
Go get Durbin! Yells Roar. As the rope continues to unspool, you notice that this rope is not connected to anything.
Oh.
I'm gonna tie it to the mast.
Give me a roll plus body to catch the rope before it slinks overboard.
Oh, bye. That's a 4.
And as the rope continues to unspool, it slips over the edge. And Roar looks back. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
I believe in you, Spoo.
And with nobody manning the helm, the ship moors itself at the next turn on the river.
Kazoosh. Son of a bitch! I just go flying.
Uh-oh. Go ahead and give me a roll plus body, the lot of you.
Oh, great.
6.
In your case, Korgal, it's a roll minus body.
5.
You're each hurled off the longboat into the waters. You're dragged about. You kind of crash against some rocks. You each take 3 points of damage.
Oh.
It is not a good feeling. You are, however, you can, however, Ront and Korgal see the very end of the bit of rope that you believe was attached to Spoo.
I'm going for the rope.
All right, give me a roll plus body.
Here we go. That's a 7.
You're able to grab onto the rope, but you can't quite seem to stop yourself. So you're now attached. So you now have this rope, but you're still going upriver.
Okay. Is there any kind of rocks or anything in my path I can move into to put my feet against and try to stop myself?
There are a troubling amount of rocks.
Oh, dear. Then I'm going to try to use one of those rocks to stop myself.
All right, give me a roll plus body.
Here we
Korgal,
go.
what are you doing?
That's 9.
Well, while all this is going on, I'm probably struggling to stay afloat here. My petrified wood staff is probably the only thing that's keeping me afloat here.
You're able to kind of keep yourself buoyant between the bones that you have wrapped around you, your old man frame, and the staff that you have. You're able to keep your head above water as long as it's not too turbulent, but it is starting to get turbulent.
Ah, jeez. This is a sticky situation. I will. I've seen a bunch of orcs come and go, but never in a situation like this. So I'm gonna see if I can channel the spirits of orcs of old to maybe try and push us both to shore, towards shore.
All right, give me a roll plus strange as
Here I go. It's just the sound of a didgeridoo just cuts through the air. That's a 10.
You hear the Popeye music start to play as you look over to your shoulder pouch and you see a mushroom sticking out. Start munching on the mushroom.
Favorite.
And your eyes just begin to kind of drift and twitch. As you feel the bony hands of those that have died before you reaching up under the water and just kind of like pushing you over to the shore. And poof! You're not sure if it was by the hands of the spirits, but you do find yourself on the shore. You are presently drowning, having taken an additional 2 points of damage. Ront, you also take an additional 2 points of damage as you do steady yourself against the very, very sharp, pointy rocks.
Ooh.
Oh,
You guys are very much in a lot of damage. I'm going to see if Spoo had the wherewithal to catch on to Durbin. All right. So yeah, you stop yourself against the rocks, and you feel the additional tug against the rocks as you feel the weight catch.
Okay.
You're
Then
able to hold on to it, and you are able to kind of like slowly but surely drag yourself to shore as you can feel your body like very slowly drifting. I need you to make me one more body roll to get to shore.
Okie doke. Come on. You can do it. That's a 6.
As the waters kind of take you under, you start to black out. So you are currently unconscious. Attached to this rope, though, you see Ront start to kind of like drift down river. And as you're kind of like trying to pull yourself back to your feet as well, your body feels like beaten, bent in ways that you haven't felt in a long time. Like you feel like hammered shit.
I'm getting too old for this shit. Run!
Am I on shore at this point?
Yeah, you can still feel like the water kind of sweeping against you, but your torso is solidly on the sandy shore. In fact, the next thing you feel as you're still high as balls and not really sure where you're at, you feel kind of a tug under your arm as Roar is helping lift you to your feet. How you feel, old man?
Run! He's
Roar.
the spirits are taking him.
He looks down river. The river just kind of carries off into darkness.
Let's get you dry, old man. Come on.
No, I'm not gonna leave that boy behind.
What do you intend to do?
I close both of my eyes and I concentrate real hard on the things I went through on the trial to become the Green Seer that I failed. And I'm going to remember all the preparation I underwent.
Remember eating a lot of mushrooms.
A lot of mushrooms. And I'm going to try and see if I can reach out and tap into whatever sort of power I may have left in these old bones. And I'm going to try and will like a gust of wind to just blow him ashore.
All right, you reach through. You do your damnedest to reach through the spirit world. Go ahead and give me a roll plus strain.
Come on, Korgal. That's a 10.
You focus on the currents of the river. You jab your staff into the river, and you can feel its currents. You can see, kind of like a lifeline. You start to reach out through the river. It begins to kind of glow in your mind. You see Ront getting tangled up in this rope that he's been holding, kind of like spooling in. And you reach out with your hand, and like a mighty mitt, you can feel a big, bulky arm reach into the water, grab around that rope that's around his waist, and pull him out, lifting it very, like with this, like, the force of an action movie star, just like wrenching him from the water. And you see, as you kind of glance around, you see Spoo kind of like spitting up water at the other end of the rope. And you see Ront being held aloft in your hands. You throw him over your big, beefy shoulder.
You ain't dying today. We's gonna be captains, captains, captains.
And like that, your vision fades and you also fall unconscious.
Hey.
Roar's just sitting there holding your body aloft.
Are you dead? Hello? Okay, he's alive.
After some time, the two of you regain 2 hit points and you regain consciousness, kind of sitting around a campfire. Your eyes blearily adjust. Ront, you are no longer wrapped in rope. Your body is kind of like bruised and battered. You have several cuts that look like they've been treated due to the rocks that you were being raked over.
We're alive.
Well, well. Looks like they're awake.
Rest of you.
You sound familiar.
As do you, old man. Your eyes begin to adjust. You see the familiar look of a cowboy hat atop of an orcish frame, atop of a green face. But as your eyes adjust, this figure that you believe to be crouching by the campfire, they're standing up and they're incredibly stocky. It looks like a very, very short, stocky orc.
What? Am I still seeing things?
That depends. How many of them mushrooms you eat, old man?
A lot.
Then probably.
Not enough to hear the voice of Harper Valentine coming out of a short little stocky thing like that. Is that really you?
That it is. That it is. Korgal, right?
That's me.
And the young one there. Hey, you waking up there, right?
Yeah.
As for the body, yeah, I do sometimes miss the additional 3 feet of me, but, well, fate has a strange way of spinning sometimes.
Weren't you
This
supposed
must be an omen.
Sure.
Weren't you supposed to be going to the games?
I was very much at the games. I was very much dead at the games. But a little passerby happened to decide that wasn't the end of my tale. You remember that lot that fought that... They fought Theranak. Battle of Damhammer.
I wasn't present for that one, but I heard this young one right here talking about it.
Yeah. The Lightbringer, the Fireflinger, and the Serpent, and the Metal one.
Well, the metal one was the one that decided that it wasn't my time to die. Through whatever means they could, they found me a new body. It's a bit short for my liking, but sure as hell beats being 6 feet under.
Well, if that really is you, Harper, then these old bones are glad to hear that voice again. We could really use you.
So I could see. Looks like the river's flowing.
That it is. old Durzub saw fit to break down the dam after those three won the tournament.
Looks like he didn't put much thought into who it would affect, though.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a lot of confusion back that way. I was just making my way upriver to see about it myself.
Yeah, we done got sent out to find whoever we can, find what supplies we can. Centaurs got to jump on us real quick.
Yeah, they
I
would.
meant Dogan, by the way, not
figured
whatever
what
I
you-
said.
I figured what you meant, old man. I didn't want to correct you. It's not my ways.
That's right. He sort of slams his staff into the ground, sort of tries to look dignified.
You can feel your bones ache as you do so.
Heads in too many places at once.
We saw a fire. We was heading towards it. River got a little bit out of hand.
Well, that would have been the fire that I started, I'm guessing. That along with the traveling skinwalkers. Fine folk when you don't have to kill them. They're concerned.
About what?
Points up at the volcanic thunderstorm.
Seems there's been a lot going on over there these days. The salamanders and the fire newts have been convening. Worshipping something. Something powerful.
Worshipping something.
I mean, they're pretty easy to get you to worship something. I mean, you give them a goat, they'll worship you for 5 days straight, but this is different. They're migrating.
Well, I guess that makes sense. When you go from a hot desert area like what it used to be to overflowing rivers and lakes, I imagine that shifting climate probably forced them out of where they used to live. Though
You're right.
this being they're worshiping, that's a troubling omen.
It is indeed.
Lenny, is there any way that I can try to roll a smarts check to try to piece together what they're worshiping or make a theory at it? I've got a theory out of game, but I don't know if Ront would be able to piece it together.
I doubt he will regardless, but you can go ahead and make a roll minus your smarts.
Yep. Nope, that's a 4.
Ooh.
Oh. Whatever they're worshiping ain't none of our business.
Well, I'm afraid
kinda
it might
is.
be.
Yeah, he corrected himself at the very end. Yeah, I suppose you're right.
Somebody sent you out here for a reason, and if I were to make a guess, I'd say it was the... Is the Green Seer still alive? Did she survive that shit?
I think so.
Did she, Lenny?
Yeah, she's alive. She was one of the first people evacuated. Her poor gnome drowned, though.
Green Seer's pretty important. a lot of care, a lot of work goes into being Green Seer. I imagine they hustled her out of there right quick.
You would know, wouldn't you, old man?
Correct me if I'm
Sort of.
wrong, Lenny. As I thought we took the gnome with us on our way out to get him back to Meteornocht.
Did you?
I remember bringing him through and him having a scene with Ramses.
Well, if you did, then he didn't drown. And somebody else drowned.
Okay.
Definitely somebody that drowned.
I will go back and I will check it at the end of the session.
All right. Either way, his life, one way or the other. I mean, honestly, the alternate to that is that he ended up going back to Iceforge. So,
Either way, he's fucking dead.
yeah.
Ooh.
One way or the other, his life was suffering.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Rest of your crew's gonna sleep through the night, I think.
Seems that way. Those
Me?
two had a rough one. Emotions to Durbin and Spoo.
Yeah, that one came over here carrying you, saying you had the rough end of it.
Yeah.
Hauling you over his shoulder like you was just a newborn babe.
Oh, I helped him. He helps me. That's the way. That's the way we gotta do nowadays, right?
Yeah. He did seem very confused as to how he found you and how he got you, but damned if he didn't like taking credit for it.
He just sort of grins underneath his purple lips.
Either way, I'm not sure what the entire purpose of your mission here is, but if you can figure out what's going on up there, I'd rightly appreciate it. I had to give that place a wide berth on my way back. Ended up having to go through the underground.
What's
Wasn't
going
it?
on down there?
Lots of strange creatures moving. Things that you wouldn't normally find in the upper levels. Something's got them scared too. A lot of things moving right now. That's why I gotta get back to Damhammer or whatever it is now.
Right. I'm sure your experience and guidance will be put well to use there.
That's the hope.
As for us, we'll see what we can find.
If it starts to look too dangerous, just turn back and find what you can. Whatever information we have on what's going on up there. The newts and salamanders, they aren't exactly the kindest of folk, but they're pretty easy to appease. Pretty quick to put away the blade. Whatever's got them in a tizzy. That's what I need to know. Oh, if you, run across any of the Solitude folk, if they start giving you trouble, just let them know Harper said you're good.
Ron gives a nod.
Right.
Sounds like a plan. Then we won't give them no trouble neither.
I think there's coming a time where us orcs might need some allies.
We've been fighting for so long. I think maybe, if not peace, then
Then a mighty
being able
war
to
band.
being able to see eye to eye with the fellow denizens of the West out here might do us some good.
We'd have access to a mighty war band, that's for sure. The bigger the band, the better.
Boy, that would be something.
I'll be counting on you boys. Oh, and
He takes a couple of red potions out of a satchel.
Oh,
patch yourselves up a bit more.
Will do.
Appreciate it.
Tips his hat to you. Well, while it's still dark out, I think I'll keep making my trail.
Ront looks around, grabs his hat, and puts it back on slowly, but gives a nod.
It's kind of scrapped up, and as you pick it up, a bunch of water pours onto your head.
Yep.
Harper gives you a smirk.
That's about my luck.
He pulls something from his pocket and flicks it towards the sand at your feet. It's a metal playing card.
Ooh. He'll go ahead and pick it up and look it over.
He's tossed you a jack of spades. Bring that back to me, would you? There's a promotion in it for you.
Ront gives a little bit of a grin and gives a nod. Sounds like a deal.
Good. I hate not playing with a full deck, he says as he just kind of like shouts as he continues walking away, just waving as he walks. His little dwarven stubby legs making very small impacts in the sand as he walks.
Well, unfortunately, most of us are doing just that. Very, very slight glance over at Korgal.
What?
Not a thing.
Sort of bat him in the chest with my staff again.
Tunk. This one actually kind of hurts a little because your chest is all bruised up.
Oh.
That's right. Don't talk about the elderly when we're in earshot. I may have one good eye, but my ears are still plenty working fine.
There's a reason why you're still walking around, old man. I respect that.
Darn Skippy. Now, about these salamanders and their worshipee.
It's gotta be something big, probably.
I imagine with something that can conjure up that volcanic thunderstorm. Yeah, might be pretty powerful indeed.
That's just something coming from the volcano itself.
You'll, I must steel myself. You didn't have to live with it for very long, but the sign of lightning is still not a pleasant one. Not to this old timer's eyes, anyway.
What was it like back then?
Old God of War and his children pretty much ran roughshod, did whatever they wanted. We tried to settle somewhere, tried to make a life for ourselves. We would settle down and life would almost be comfortable. And then in came the biggin to put us back in our place. Didn't even bother coming himself. Didn't really need to. But those three, if old Vander's really gone, then despite however much trouble we have right now with the water and the flooding, the future, I think, looks pretty bright.
Hey, you think the metal one done sunk to the bottom of the river?
Last I heard, metal floats. Anyone tells you otherwise, they're a liar.
Huh.
I mean, people make boats out of metal, don't they?
I thought they done made them out of wood.
I see metal boats. Make all kinds of things out of metal.
Half expected you to
Well-
know. Wood's a type of metal.
But hopefully, there'll come a time soon here where children don't have to be afraid of thunderstorms.
That's gonna be a right good day.
That sounds nice. I hope I live to see it.
Well, you're already halfway there. Just gotta last a little longer, old timer.
Don't worry. I ain't ready to die just yet. Well, let's get a move on. And I sort of smack him on the ass with my staff.
You start walking around with your staff, smacking everybody, waking them up.
Hey!
Sure.
All right. Is it all right? We travel at night, right?
Yeah.
I'm getting up.
Well, I suppose we don't have to worry about who's going to be the captain. Not for much longer, anyway.
Oh,
Did you see who paid us a visit last night?
well, we ran into Harper Valentine, but he was like real short. Like, I didn't believe him. I was real tired.
Nope. That's the real deal, son. That was Harper Valentine in the flesh, though he might be looking a bit shorter nowadays. That's the real deal. Even got one of his playing cards to prove it.
Ront shows the playing card.
Wow.
And he gave us a mission.
What did he want us to do?
We gotta find out what the salamanders are doing up near that thundercloud.
Goody.
They's worshiping something. You got to find out what.
Well, if Harper Valentine wants us to do something, then we gets to that boat and we fucking does it.
Exactly.
Done it. We're going.
I like your spirit, son.
Roar! He starts running back towards the boat.
Yeah.
We should probably keep up with him. He'll probably try to leave without us.
Probably. Don't need any more of that.
Roar starts taking up the trail behind him, and Spoo continues
Spoo?
gathering the rope that is still kind of strewn about. He looks over at you after you say his name.
Now, Spoo, you did a good job, Spoo.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody trusted more to grab them. That's why I had you thrown.
Good old Spoo.
You know, I'm just wondering. Did you not grab the rope before I went over? Because it felt like it wasn't tied down. I felt like I went really far downriver. Your silence is deafening.
Now,
I'm just gonna carry
Spoo,
this back to the boat.
See, we were more concerned about, getting you to him and getting you two okay. Now, I did have the rope eventually.
Eventually.
Yeah. And that's the
Spoo.
important part.
Spoo, the important thing is that we're all alive. We're all kicking.
I guess I can't argue with that.
That's the important thing, Spoo.
All right.
I like saying your name.
He's just nodding at you.
It's a good name.
Spoo.
The next day, you guys have sailed.
He's still just spoo.
It takes a few evenings to sail down, but you do eventually make it towards the kind of the mouth of a cave, where you know that once you go in the river there, you're basically sailing into the uncharted Underdark. So the boat itself, you end up mooring it on the side towards the mountain path that will no doubt lead you upwards towards the volcanic thunderstorm, which now just kind of looms overhead in this almost mushroom cloud-like fashion, spewing out from the volcanic mountains that lie to your east.
Make sure the boat's tied up real good before we go.
So should some of us stay to make sure this thing stays safe, or
You know, that's probably a good idea. Seeing as how this newfangled technology seems to keep getting away from us.
good call.
Spoo, are you-
I'll stay. Yeah, I'm down. I'm good for that.
What a brave volunteer you are.
I'll stay too in case something happens to Spoo.
Good thinking.
He kind of elbows Durbin. Oh, who wants to go up there?
Well, you gotta look at it like this, right? If he stays, then if anything attacks the boat, you're gonna get to fight him. But if we goes in there and we got to fight, and you go with us, you get to fight in there, and who knows what's loose in there.
Exactly, I won't fight up there. It sounds like that's where glory is, right? And not like that Grimlock the Immortal sort of glory. It's the,
Yeah.
Is he actually doing things, glory? Yeah.
yeah, it's the kind of stuff that gets you nicknames like the Immortal. That's them place up there.
Yeah.
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 We could all use a good moniker after we get off of this one.
Like, staying behind will just get you a nickname of, like, Spoo the Waterlogged or something.
I'll take that.
Sounds like a plan.
Spoo.
I'll just be
All right.
Ruhr. I'll just be Ruhr the patient.
Excellent. Well, let's get a move on, us three, then. We've got some investigating to do.
Investigate!
Just kind of like hurls a hand axe at a rocky wall, clatters.
And how?
Walks over, picks it up.
Ah!
What's your investigation come across?
And so the three orcs start to make their way up the mountainous path. It's getting, like, the air starts to kind of get thinner as you travel upward, as well as it gets hotter, and now kind of like raining about you. You start getting like flecks of volcanic ash kind of sprinkling down from the skies. Eventually you get high up enough that for the first time in your orky lives, you can actually glance down at the river and the valley and the land that you called home below. You can actually see as far back as the glimmering city of Oasis in the distance, and the small speckles of firelight that make up what territory you have that now exists around Damhammer.
Man, look at that right there. Makes you think, don't it?
Oh, never seen it from this angle before.
Nobody can make me think.
but what about, can't you make you think?
I can try.
Maybe, no. Maybe, no, use a foyer. You ain't a thinker. That's what you're good at.
If you say so.
Hmm.
It's what I does.
Yeah.
You guys
Ron
make
will just give him a pat on the back and he keeps on going forward.
all right. Turn your back to the valley behind you. The thunder begins to echo a bit louder, a lot louder actually, as you're getting closer to the Kuldara itself, or Caldara. Let me see, where is... I wish they made a thunderstorm sound without rain on on roll 20.
Yeah.
But you'll just have to imagine the thunder. As you continue traveling upwards into the mountains, you do eventually need to stop and find a spot to make camp, as it is, you've been traveling for quite some time, and while you do have an orc's stamina can only go so far.
Ugh.
I'll
Getting,
go ahead and I'll try to spot out a good spot for you, for everybody.
That'd be a wits roll.
That's an 11.
Sure enough,
Hey.
you're able to find a old cave. Smells like dog. Like, very much smells like dog. It's actually very close to some old hot springs.
Now tell me this place don't look perfect. It's like somebody been living here for a long time.
There
If
are
I had
the place is entirely unfurnished, but there are like pads and pads of like discarded and shedded hair everywhere in here.
If I had to hazard a guess, I'd imagine some folks from Solitude made their way up here.
There's lots of animal smells.
That's big old hair though. He picks up just a little bit of hair. I mean, look at this thing.
Looks like it came off something pretty big.
Yeah.
Think he's coming back?
Couldn't rightly say. Let me think. Are there any signs of anything recent here?
That'd be a wits check.
Okay, just gonna be flat then, I think. That's an 11 as well.
The most recent signs of life you can find around here, you do find bits of singed hair every now and again. It looks like maybe they were used for like a fire newt's bed at some point, because you find like just these piles of hair, but every now and again like you find them where they're just like kind of singed all around the middle and kind of burned up. Gives off the old faint acrid smell of burnt hair.
Yeah. Perhaps
It doesn't look like any animals have been back here in a while.
Doesn't seem like anything's been here in a while. I think the salamanders might have been using these as beds.
Alright. Then we's gonna be good tonight, right?
Maybe.
So we should
Make camp, yeah.
Yeah.
Set up a watch, yeah.
That one! That was the one that my brain was thinking but then didn't say. Because
Good thinking.
Nobody makes me think.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna take first watch. Then.
Alright.
Durbin just sort of like T-poses and then falls backward into a pile of hair. Instantly asleep.
He's gonna be a good one. Hope the other two are okay though.
Yeah.
I was always wondering, what's them mushrooms like? The ones you's always eating.
What do you mean? How do they taste, or what do they do to you?
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you. The taste leaves something to be desired. Imagine a mushroom, but dry. That's sort of how it tastes and also feels in the mouth. But what it does to you is it opens your senses. It opens your third eye. Everybody's got a third eye, and it's invisible. But with the power of this, and also some fermented berries, you open your third eye, and you can see and interact with the things around you, the things that other people can't see.
Just staring, just wide-eyed, almost cross-eyed at him.
You see, you learn a thing or two when you get it to be as old as I am.
So, like, where's this third eye at? Like, with the other two, or?
Beats me. I said it's invisible. You just know when it opens.
That's something. But, like, if you can see from it and it opens, don't you know where it is? Even if it's invisible and you can't see it, but that's because you're seeing through it instead of seeing it.
Look, I only got one good eye. Whenever I eat the mushroom, I get two again. So it just kind of feels like I'm seeing with both of them again. I don't know what'll happen if you try it. Here, want one?
I mean, I'm supposed to be on watch. But he takes the mushroom and just pockets it for right now.
Ron, give me a smarts roll.
Okay. This is going to go great.
As Korgal settles down.
That's a 7.
You're left with an errant thought. It's not a compelling thought. You are not compelled to act on it.
Uh-huh.
But you're pretty good at watching with two eyes. If you had that third eye, would you be able to watch better? It's an errant thought. Do with it what you will.
I mean, if I am pretty good with two eyes. You know what? What the hell? I do it. I take it.
Give me a roll plus strange.
Okay.
That'd be 0, I think, for you.
That's a 5.
You no longer require a wits roll, as you are now tripping balls. As you kind of stare into the, you stare off, just kind of like glancing into the thunderstorm. The lightning starts to dance around, almost creating a kind of swirling pattern that you kind of feel yourself getting pulled into. You feel as though you're being passed around, this hot, scorching air swirling around your body. Almost like little pinpricks of fire kind of pressing into your flesh as you're swirling in through this volcanic firestorm. You see flashes of orange and yellow and red just glinting everywhere, just spinning all throughout you as you feel yourself being pulled through this cacophony of volcanic ash and fire and lightning. And as your head begins to spin, you hear kind of echoing, like this kind of snapping in your ears. Oi, 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 oi. Snap, snap. Oi, oi! Wake up!
His eyes focus, and he looks over. Oi.
You are surrounded by fire newts and salamanders, each having a spear pointed at your necks. Korgal's still asleep.
I think they found us.
Yeah.
A little fire newt kind of like starts crawling up Korgal. You can feel like this little burning on your chest as he kind of slaps you on the side of the face.
Betsy. Betsy. Oh, not now. Got a headache. Oh, huh? Oh! Heavens to Betsy.
You see the fire newts kind of gathering together as they're sort of chittering amongst themselves. The salamanders holding weapons trained on you. You can hear the fire newts.
They keep saying the same thing. Over and over.
They look over at you. They start to wave, and the salamanders start to kind of like prod you with their spears to kind of like usher you forward.
I think they're taking us to speak to their leader.
That's good, right? Maybe.
I hope.
That means we can talk to him.
As you are ushered out of the doghouse, I guess, you see kind of lining the sides more and more as you go further onto this mountain trail, kind of peeking out of little caverns or standing above little crests. More and more of these salamanders and fire newts, and slowly but surely the sounds begin to kind of echo around you.
Talk, 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 talk.
Kind of chanting as you get closer and closer to the volcano until you're standing in the midst of a massive hot spring-filled Kuldara. Mountains kind of like shuddering around you, this volcanic lightning storm way up overhead as they continue chanting.
Talk, talk.
Kind of standing before the cavern that sits against a mountain wall, kind of sits in this like U-shaped mountain wall, this cavern echoing ahead. Some of these fire newts are very ornately dressed in volcanic rocks, almost look kind of tribal. The air begins to shudder, and they all start to quiet down. A brilliant, bright light starts to emanate from the east. You're not sure what to make of it at first, this little pin of bright light. The air begins to shudder more as this light slams into the wall beside the cavern.
Huh?
Everything sits silently for a moment. From the smoldering crater, you see these insectoid-like fingers grasp the sides of this light-created crater.
I have had enough of this!
And floating before you, with these insectoid-like legs, pincer-like hands, and this angry, scorched grin / grimace on his face.
You petulant worms and green men! You stand now! Worship! I, Jeff, the Ascendant!
And as he says this sort of red glimmer of this boulder-sized shape shoots out from the opening behind him. All you can see is this blur and these glints of sharp white daggers as an abyss seems to consume the body of this thing that's calling itself Jeff the Ass. The outpointed hand and legs clatter to the ground, oozing black blood, as staring before you is the largest this large lizard-like face, very frilled with two massive horns sticking out the side of this red-scaled massive beast. It gives a it lets out a bone-crunching crunch chew as you hear one last and it swallows. The fire newts begin to scream and cheer.
Nidhogg! Nidhogg! Nidhogg!
Silence!
Nidhogg!
When I smelled 3 approaching, it was not you who I expected.
Its face, large and looming, threatening, starts to lean down towards you. You start to get a grip of this thing's actual size as lumbering slowly out of the darkness of this cave mouth is a massive, it must stand at least 20 or 30 feet tall, dragon. Red of scale.
Would we recognize it as a dragon?
You would only recognize it as a dragon due to the fact that it is... legends have been told of the dragons of the East, but their scale were only of gold, bronze, and silver. Enough stories have passed around that their likeness is imprinted in various folklore, arts, and pieces like that. You know the land to the east has a kingdom that is ruled by dragons, but this one, it has never been spoken of, one with red scale.
You're a dragon.
Very astute of you, old man.
But your scales are unlike any I've heard of before.
I'm still coming to terms with what I am. The 3 that came before you, the Dark Elf, the Dragonborn, and the one of metal, they claim to know me. They pled with me. For some reason, I could not bring myself to end them. You, however, I feel no such reservations. What brings you to my throne?
Farther to the west, a great dam has burst, been destroyed, sending a
Destroyed?
great...
And you think this trifle for me?
No, you simply, you asked why we were here. We are here because we are looking for others of our kind. We're looking for more of us, and we saw the storms and everything, and we were wanting to know what was making the storms.
And now that you have found your answer, what do you think?
It gives you this very cocky grin.
Well, I think you're one of the biggest things I ever seen.
He's pretty damn big.
I'd have to agree.
Oh, how big would you say?
Probably one of the biggest living creatures I've ever seen. And I've seen a rock.
Back home, we keep these big old gray animals called elephants. You's ways bigger than them.
A creature like that might be a suitable treat.
Do you, are you, these fire newts and salamanders, they chanted something. Is that your name?
They've been chanting for some time. Although I've grown quite attached to what they've been saying. Needhog. Do you believe that to be a name suiting of one as glorious as I?
Do we know what it means?
That depends. Do I know what it means?
It's gotta.
It literally translates to curse striker, which is actually oddly appropriate.
That's fucking awesome.
It's got a ring to it. Like, watch out, Needhog's coming.
Rolls off the
Yes.
tongue.
It does, doesn't it?
Don't go
No.
there. That's the
No.
mountain lair of the Needhog.
Yes. Needhog's lair. When I first got here, I was very confused. I couldn't even form words in my mind. But now it all feels so natural. This land is mine. Everything on it is mine. And therefore, you are mine. So the question remains, what purpose do you serve the great Needhog? Us good at killing things, are you? Yeah?
There needs to be people that can spread the word of the Needhog to the rest of everywheres.
The rest of everywhere.
Yeah.
How far
So-
can your words spread, tiny bean?
We can bring the words back to Damhammer, all the way to Oasis, and that's just the beginnings. We can go as further than that. There's these folks that done came from the east, and they came over west. If they did that, then we could go east and west, and we do that too.
So you shall. You can go to your people and sing praise of Needhog. And bring me some of those elephants. With that, perhaps you can earn my favor. And serve. Serve properly. Above those that would serve beneath.
There's one thing that you need to know, Great Needhog. There's another that claims these areas to be his.
Oh, do they?
Yeah. He's the giant Dogud.
Dogud.
Yeah. He's big too.
As big as me.
He ain't as long as you. He ain't as big long.
You would dare compare another to my frame?
Fire whips up all around you. He yelled, I'm sure it cut out on Discord, you would dare compare another to my frame.
Yous asks it if he's as big as you. I just answer your question.
To which there is one obvious answer. Needhog stands above all!
Yeah. Use big as both longs and talls. Use the biggest there is.
And this Dogud is but a runt in my shadow.
He says, kind of lowering his head towards you. He's giving you like these testing sniffs, wondering if he wants to eat you. Something seems to be holding him back.
Yes. He ain't got nothing on you, Great Needhog.
Then what master is it that you serve?
The Great Needhog?
Correct.
Korgal's got like a grip on his staff now. His old frail form is shaking as he leans against the staff. He looks over to Ront with his one milky eye.
The look in Ront's eyes basically says that he wants to survive this situation and tell Damhammer what's going on.
Durbin is just standing in a bit of a stupor. He's not really sure what's going on, but he knows he has no control over it.
Yeah, we serve Needhog, the great devourer of Jeff the Ass.
Needhog, devourer of ass.
Fuck me.
I mean...
All right, recomposed. Needhog swivels his head towards you, Korgal.
You... the old one. Your mind looks conflicted.
I have lived many a year, Needhog. I have lived... I was born into and lived long enough to see a tyrant's end. The grip of the one known as Vander finally loosened on this land, and a ray of hope finally bleeds through.
And don't you feel gracious to stand in hope's glory?
He reaches.
Of my light.
You can see the embers kind of billowing within his throat as he's saying that, almost as if he's holding back fire while speaking these words.
Korgal reaches into his pack and shoves a ton of mushrooms into his mouth.
You consume every mushroom you have available.
A purplish foam begins to billow out of his mouth.
Needhog looks very inquisitively at this. The fire seems to like dissipate from his throat, and he just looks kind of confused.
I have not lived this long to see one tyrant traded for another.
You would dare!
And
Run.
Run.
Rock, please.
Okay, Rance, give me a roll plus body, and Korgal, what are you attempting to do, summoning every single hallucinogen you have?
13.
I am completely open to the spirit realm around me. And I... Does it look like he's going to eat me?
He looks very confused right now, almost as though, like, time has kind of dilated for you. You feel like no matter what happens here, you're about to die. You feel yourself living out your last moments, and you are simply guided by a single solitary thought of how you want this to end. What is that thought?
I take a huge breath in, and I billow out this pink and purplish smoke with crackles of red and green inside of it, and I am going to try and weaken the minds and perceptions of everyone around me, in essence, including Needhog.
All right, give me this will be a roll plus strange. And this being a sacrificial act, I will let you re-roll the lowest die.
Okay.
The children will not fear the thunder.
All right, and feel
I'll
free to
re-roll the
re-roll the 3.
Into a 6, making that a 12. As I just erupt into this purple and pinkish smoke, and just from the top of the volcano, just a... And I'm going to basically use my spiritual presence to try and disrupt Needhog's perception and his mind.
So, Rant, as you notice what's happening, what Korgal has in mind, you see him kind of eyeing that pouch that he carries full of mushrooms. Your first thought is, old man, no, but when he tells you to run, you dart. A moment later, Durbin looks to his left. Oh, fuck! He starts running too. And as you chew, you scream out your final echoings. This mist begins to enswirl around you, this psychedelic. You see yourself, the orc you once were before you took the trials, before they rotted your brain. This big, strong orc billows up out of this purple and pink mist. You swell along with the volcanic ash, growing larger and larger until you're dwarfing Needhog in size. You reach down, your legs become this billowing miasma of smoke that engulfs all of the salamanders. Rance and Durbin, you guys are just barely keeping pace against this billowing, wafting miasma of psychedelic torture that is now overtaking the area. You hear the salamanders and newts panicking as if taken over by some horrifically hallucinogenic toxin. They begin battling each other, gagging, screaming, just doing whatever they can to try to put their minds at ease to make sense of the things that they are seeing. And as you reach down, your mistral body engulfs the neck of Needhog. You lean into him, this spectral body, and for a moment, as your body begins to, as he begins to inhale the mist coming off of your hands, you see his eyes shift and change. They almost take on a sort of clarity.
What is happening to me?
And
You hear the voice echo.
my final words that echo out throughout the skies.
The West has no masters!
And you explode into a ball of psychokinetic, hallucinogenic miasma that just overtakes this area. The volcanic lightning strikes down everywhere in a circle, becoming this swirling kaleidoscopic pattern of colors and temperatures. Ront and Durbin, you guys run for your life, skittering down as quickly as your legs can carry you. You feel like you've been running for hours. As the miasma dissipates beyond, you hear the angered roar of a red dragon as it flies into the sky, tripping balls. It flies eastward, southward, westward, almost in random patterns, spewing fire as it does barrel rolls in the sky, doing this macabre dance. And for a moment, as you look at it, you can almost see as if it's being held in the hand of the spectral orcan body of Korgal, flipping it and playing with it in the sky. And as that form seems to fade, the dragon takes perch at the tip of one of the mountains visible in your range, glances off towards Oasis, and then turns back and walks down the mountain back towards its caldera. Some unseen inner turmoil guiding its steps as you reconnect with Spoo and Roar. You guys make your way back upriver, hopefully to catch up and tell everybody what it is that awaits you at the caldera. And here is where we will end today's session.